Ooh, you must be the people that we would be wanting to talk about for the lost husband. Tiny cage is carefully constructed. Guy, you can go there now, to your 5.
Here we go. Nice and easy. No way out, little guys. Not out of this jam.
Yeah, Morel, the cryptozoologist. There's a cylinder on the ground in which the man is arranging some netting. It looks like some kind of trap. He notices you.
Who's there? Oh, the police. Hello, officer.
You even recognize me, wow.
Is that the police? Why's the police here?
Gary.
Don't worry, Gary. I'll handle it.
You must be Morel, the cryptozoologist.
To what do I owe the pleasure?
Well, Lena sent me. She's been really worried about you and is waiting for you to get back.
Ah, of course. Thank you for passing along the message. That damned waterlock is broken, and we can't go all the way around the 881.
But now you can. Yeah, that was me. I broke the waterlock with my motor carriage, sadly, but it is fixed now. You can go back.
You broke the waterlock with the motor carriage? But there was a billboard in the canal. Not a vehicle, it said Samaran Butter.
Well, maybe it wasn't me, but No, it was all me. I caused your delay, and I'm sorry, but you can return now.
Did he say we can go back now?
Yes, Gary, we can go soon. If you see Lena, tell her I won't be long.
He turns to you. This is a man possessed, always on the brink of some breakthrough. He won't leave if there's a sliver of hope the great find might happen today.
I just have to do one more round. See if the phasmid has taken the bait. Then we're going.
He refastens a bit of netting that has come loose in the wind. For all his passion, this man's diligent and patient. You could learn things from him. Tell me about this phasmid you're looking for. Well, first of all, it's damn difficult to find, which is why we've been knee-deep in the reeds, laying traps for it. What makes it so difficult to find? Good question, peanut phasmid of the order Pandasmodea. A coast insect disguises itself as plant matter. In this case, the reeds. He looks around. Awful lot of reeds around, aren't there? There is a lot of reeds. Definitely a lot of reeds. Awfully lot of reeds. And I suspect it may also have developed other specialist techniques to protect itself from predators or scientists in our present case. So what sort of specialized techniques is the phasmid using to hide itself? It's my hypothesis that it has evolved certain electrochemical defenses that allow it to interfere with animal perceptions, impeding pattern recognition, confusing the visual cortex. But I cannot describe how these defenses work, much less how they evolved without studying a live specimen. Yes, it makes perfect sense. You are beginning to suspect there's something paranatural about this phasmid. Well, how big is this phasmid? I'm expecting it to be quite giant. One known species of phasmid called the Megaphasmodia soensis is about the size of a grown man's forearm, so it leaves the conclusion up to you. So why are you so interested in this stick bug? It doesn't seem to be as colorful as some of the other cryptids I've heard about. He flashes your sideways smile. Typical rookie assumption. Insects are much more sophisticated creatures than those unversed in zoology give them credit for. Even simply catching a glimpse of the Insulidian phasmid would be the apex of any cryptozoologist career, but to study it and its defenses, find out how it stayed hidden so long, he shakes his head. So what have you discovered about it so far? Very little, I'm sorry to say. No one's ever captured a specimen, so all our information based on first and third hand accounts. So no one's ever found one? Not yet. He holds up the index finger. That's what makes it a cryptid. But if no one can prove it exists, how do you know it's real? I know it's real. The cryptozoologist says, brusquely enough that even he seems taken aback by it. By which I mean, he says, scattering himself, I've heard enough first-hand accounts to believe quite firmly that the Insulidian phasmid is more than mere superstition. What would it be like to grasp and hold on to something you think is next to you, or just behind you, like a trace of vapor you exhaled one spring morning as a child. And this is what he's searched for, a spectre. Lena said there has been a sighting of it here in Martinez. Yes, the most recent sighting was by a couple of teenagers along the coast here. That's what brought us to Martinez specifically. It's the first credible sighting in several decades. Admittedly, it's an unusual location for this specimen, but with all the sewage runoff upstream, it probably doesn't matter much anymore. Maybe the Elysium plasmid has died out? The cryptozoologist shakes his head vigorously. I have to resist the thought. Such an extraordinary creature is doubtlessly highly resilient. After all, it's generally thought to be capable of parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis? Encyclopedia, of course, would fail. Yeah. Yes, the females don't need males to reproduce, makes it easier for species to survive in adverse conditions. That's pretty clever. Yes, the Elysium plasmid is a very clever insect, that's why it's so damn difficult to catch. But as a scientist, I try my best to remain dispassionate. So tell me more about these traps. How are you planning to catch them? Well, he points in the cage of mesh and wiring on the ground. They may not look impressive, but Lena designed them quite cleverly, so I'm sure they'll do the trick. So Lena actually designed the traps? Yes, he says with some pride. More than some, he admires this about her. So how do the traps work? Simple. Attracted by the locust, the plasmids crawl down the funnel and, having eaten its fill, can't get back out. At least that's the intention. The net isn't the perfect solution, but we didn't want to use anything that might damage the specimen's delicate exoskeleton. So what are you exactly using as a bait? Locusts. He gestures towards the trap. Nearly all known plasmids are herbivores, of course, but we've hypothesized that the Elysium plasmid might occasionally prey on other insects. Inside the trap, a number of locusts crawl and tumble over one another in a tiny shittering swarm. A meat-eating stick insect? Does it pretend to be the reeds as part of its ambush behavior? This seems unlikely. Always logic, just putting everything down. What will you do if these traps don't work? They'll work, I assure you. The predatory hypothesis using a locust as a bait account for the failure of previous efforts by other teams which used plants. We have given this some thought. So a carnivorous stick insect seems unlikely. I guess I gotta at least say it. Thank you for your opinion. We have also included plant material in the traps to satiate your skepticism. Not a big fan of skepticism, this one. I can understand. Let me ask you something else. Yes, what? So how did you become a cryptozoologist? I just always liked animals and puzzles. Searching for cryptids is a bit of both. He seems reluctant to talk about himself, but he'll open up if you're prod a little. So you're living your childhood dream out here. His eyes narrow. It's not child's play just because I have traipsed through the mud every so often. I didn't mean it like that. Have you ever discovered a cryptid? No, very few cryptids are ever discovered, and not for a lack of trying. To stay hidden is a cryptid's primary quality. It's even in the name, cryptid. So how many cryptids have been found? Of the list of cryptids kept by the Cryptozoological Society of Chemney, which is 4,082 items long, about 2,000 have been confirmed as hoaxes. 2 are categorized as confirmed discoveries. The rest are in different stages of discovery, refuting, and data collecting. Only 2 have proven to be real. Yes, the Sataquan forest pygmy, who turned out to be an extinct species of primate, and a cave salamander from Yukograd, who is honestly quite unremarkable. It's in a zoo somewhere. We cryptozoologists are brutally honest with ourselves, more so even than the public. Most cryptids are hoaxes, or they are never found. That does not mean we should stop searching. I can agree with that. You can search, especially when you enjoy it. Not approvingly, then the insulin and plasmid will be the third. Indeed. He does not smile, just looks you in the eye. It's a forceful case. If our expedition is successful, every paper in the world will report on it. From Verrochol to Doshanto, it will be a zoological miracle. The hair on your arm stands up. Electricity. Sounds like reeds hissing. He has clearly done his math on this. There are no surprise in him, or swaying his opinion. So, why not just be a zoologist? Real animals are bustling too. Real. He scoffs at the concept. I know you think one is a respectable profession while the other is superstition. Everyone does. I don't. It's a profession just like any other. Indeed. My methods do not differ from other scientists. I simply draw upon a wider variety of evidence, and I have more hope that something truly surprising might happen. And has anything truly surprising ever happened to you? I have yet to catch a cryptid, if that's what you're getting at, but I have come close. So what kind of evidence do you use? Everything from forgotten regional lore to newspaper accounts like the one that brought us here to look for the plasmid. I keep a very open mind. He's interested in things that people believe that scientists don't. You think other scientists don't listen to ordinary people enough? Most establishment scientists only care about reputation and remuneration, not real research, and certainly not the truth. And they are a cowardly lot, and both the field and basement archives can be dangerous places. Well, thanks for explaining that. Now about something else. Yes. Well, let's talk about very specific cryptids. He eyes you skeptically. Alright, what cryptids precisely? I usually discuss these things with specialists, so I don't know what we would have to discuss, he wants to say, but decides against it. You need to ask him about specific cryptids. Cryptids you've heard about from Lena or his friend Gary. He won't just talk. I know about the Cryobacter catlensis. Oh, everyone knows about that one, thanks to Professor Mijano being the talk of the town for a time. He coughs in his fist. Although probably because her life ended as a result of her work in Katla, no one remembers her contribution to the search for the Nonok. The Nonok? A flightless cursor owl found in the Semenese Isles. Its long legs permit the Nonok to run faster than any other avian, perhaps any other animal, who knows. When it's not hunting its prey in this manner, the oak hangs from tree branches like a bat waiting to dive and hapless prey below on the jungle floor. Mijano liked extreme animals, you see, one of the few figures of the academic establishment I respect. Really a shame she disappeared. When did she disappear? Oh, decades ago, in the 30s. I didn't know her personally, of course. A chasm of academic pretension still stood before us, even though she had usual courage for someone from the other side. I know the biggest cryptid, the giant of Kokonur. That's impressive, I guess. He does not seem that impressed, but have you seen it with your own eyes? Truth, no. Of course you haven't. He seems satisfied. Have you seen it? I haven't had a chance to travel to Kokonur, no, and I likely never will. The Samsar-skilled desert region has been embroiled in a small civil war for the last 8 years. I fear this mindless barbarism may have wiped out the elusive creature entirely. Sighting of towering luminosities have grown rare recently, while they once used to be constant. Yes, sightings of mirages are constant. A mirage is a constant phenomenon that people have no time to report when a war is going on. Yes, logic. It remains unclear what this has got to do with you seeing it, as the inquiries before, he was just being defensive. So I know about the most dangerous cryptid, the gnome of Jeroma. Formerly the most dangerous, yes, but do you know the most dangerous living cryptid? He does not want to make it feel like you knowing it is some big deal. Living? No. The most dangerous cryptid is the carnivorous ruminant known colloquially as the tread moose. The tread moose? Yes, the tread moose subsists entirely on flesh. It has even been known to dig up fresh graves in search of sustenance. Okay, what does the tread moose look like? Just like an ordinary autumn moose. Then how can you tell if it's the ordinary or the tread kind? You can't. That's what makes it so dreadful and hard to identify. A moose that looks like any other moose? What's going on here? He's getting right. I am 100% behind the tread moose. I utterly believe it exists. It sounds too terrifying. You're right too. He gives you an approving tip of his hat. The bodies found in the forest are just one piece of physical evidence. We also have sightings in Vasa, reaching back 4 centuries. Vasa? Really? Well, it kind of makes sense. Vasa is a city hour away from the place I was born in, approximately with a car. It is a Finnish city. Vasa is. In there, eh? I'm glad I never met the treaded. Where? What was tread moose? Tread moose. I'm glad I never met a tread moose. I heard moose noises, but gladly I've not been able to be too close to wild mooses that any one of them could have been a tread moose. In fact, we may be close to capturing live specimen. Modern genetics methods may prove crucial in differentiating the tread variant from the hypervirus one. Anyway, he gestures for you to continue. Which cryptid did you almost catch? You said before that you almost caught one. A willow person. It's a long story on one specialist would find rather dull. Willow people? Not at all. What are willow people? They're not people, really. Some argue that they're not even animals, as they seem to have evolved directly from trees. He says it in a self-explanatory, everyday manner. They're very, very thin, almost flat, in fact, and can camouflage themselves easily, wrapping themselves around trees and blending in with the tree bark. In that way, they're not too dissimilar from the plasmid we are looking for here. Wait, so I may have seen these willow people without knowing it. You probably have. How did you almost catch a willow person? Carrie and I painted an entire grove's worth of trees in slow drying paint. It was a bright lavender color. I was hoping one of the willow people would get paint on it and not be able to camouflage itself. After waiting and hiding for hours, I saw a figure slip from one of the trees, a lavender shadow dashing through the grove. And then? I chased it with the net. Not very elegant, but you can't be elegant in the field, and, well, it was faster than me. A lavender shadow. Yes, I know it sounds like we were snacking on funny mushrooms, but I did see motion and color. Mine is not a confirmed sighting of a cryptid, however. Much goes into verifying these things, and my account comes short of a few standards. Okay, I'm not gonna then try to ask that. At least our well, was it the suggestion that said that he's not just gonna tell me, so not for now. I'm gonna say that too, but I'm looking for a suspect. Have you seen a woman with red hair who seemed to be on the run? I'm afraid not, officer. I've been busy digging around in the reeds for days, looking for signs of insect activity. I'm less interested in mammalian concerns, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, I can understand that. That's completely acceptable. So Lena seems pretty eager for you to return. And I'm eager to return to her, I assure you, but I can't leave before we've finished with these traps. He looks out where Lena would be. My wife understands just as well as anyone. Come on, Morel, we've been soaking out here for days. It's time to go back. And leave the traps? Absolutely not. Yes, in response, I won't let Lena down. Come on, she wants us back. I'm sewed up to my nuts over here. We'll both get reed crabs if we don't try out soon. I didn't know the plasmid was so important to Lena. Of course it's important to her. She's seen it. A verified sighting on record. One of only four this century, and it's hers. Really? She sighted the plasmid. She didn't tell me that. Yes, that's how we first came to know one another, in fact. But that's her story to tell, not mine. He coughs, then continues. Needless to say, you must ask her about the mysterious plasmid. Definitely. Suffice to say, it's long been our dream to find proof of the insulin and plasmid together. I can't abandon the course now. Another cough into his fist this time. Maybe you could go back to Berlin, warm up, come back to check the traps later. No. The traps need to be monitored on a regular schedule. What would we do if the plasmid were to stop while we were sipping tea at the hostel? He's dead set on this. What if I check the traps for you? He looks at you with obvious surprise. I didn't expect you to take such an interest in our work, you officer. Cryptozoology and detective work are very similar. Yes, indeed. Both require a great deal of research, attention to detail, and above all, persistence. Where are these traps? There are 4 in total. One is in the south, on this little peninsula by the boathouses there. He points out. It's very near. Another is set in the land's end to the northeast. It's behind a small sand dune there on your way to the old radio tower after the church. The third is set near the canal where you cross by a concrete slab. A big thicket of reeds going up the slope, and among them, he gestures to the trap in front of him. You should check at least one of those before returning to this one, since I just said it. And this one's more of a technicality, but still better safe than stupid than sorry. So what do I do if there's a plasmid in one of the traps? Bring it to me at once. Just make sure the trap is closed tight. He's not comfortable with the possibility that he'll claim the find, but he's lying about this even to himself. What if I encountered the plasmid in the wild? That's highly unlikely, officer, but in the event you do, he takes out a small white spray can. I'll spray you with a pheromone mixture I developed. Wow. It's made of musk and research chemicals. The pheromones should attract the insect to you, or at least prevent it from bolting at the sight of you. It's quite potent. Will last you about a week. Lay it on me. Tick. Present your armpit. He doses you with the odd-smelling spray, a double helping as you present your other armpit, and then gives you a satisfied nod. This is the smell of dying reeds, of longing crumbling into the water. I'm ready, let's get to it. Thank you for your help. Gary and I will start breaking down camp. If you have any more questions, now's the time to ask. Finally, you're being sensible. I'll start packing right now. I don't think I have any more questions for you. I can check if Gary could talk to me, but I'll get going. Can I talk to you just quickly?
Hello, I'm Gary. Very generous of you to help us out, officer.
No problem.
I'm just waiting for my friend Morel to finish up with his insect traps so we can return to civilization.
Not a lover of the great outdoors?
I like nature, just not this bloody coast. It's mostly drunks and degenerates that come here.
Nobody's perfect. I'm sure you've been tempted to drink.
Oh, I've been tempted, but someone has to stay strong for Rivercall.
He nods gravely. His gaze shifts to the pile of socky locks at his feet. He pronounces Revanchol with a K, unlike other people. Yeah, mostly it's been Revanchol, Revanchol. Very different. Serious question time. This man is no innocent. No one is. In what way? In what is he not innocent? Are you a cryptozoologist too? No, I help Morel with research sometimes, and I've learned some things along the way, but I don't usually go in for picnics like this on my own. What does he do then? This feels like a good opportunity to dominate him. What do you do then, if not cryptozoology? Oh, this and that, he grins. Sounds intriguing. Sometimes. See, he's been evasive. Shake him up. Show him who's boss. That's not exactly an answer. I just didn't want to bore you with unnecessary detail, officer. I work as a special courier. You know, urgent deliveries, overnight deliveries to out-of-the-way locations. So you deliver things. What kind of things? Oh, I don't know the contents, officer. Part of my job is discretion. Discretion. Fascinating. Let's talk about something else then. Yes, officer. So you said Erevan call. I like to pronounce it the hard way, the old way, the Vespertine way, he nods solemnly. He winks at you, trying to relay some hidden message, inviting you to mispronounce it too, perhaps. It's odd. It's a secret rite, a very French nationalist handshake, probably. Is this your mark, by the way? Hold up the yellow man mark. My mark? Why would you think that? I can see you recognize it, it's in your eyes. I may have had a similar look in muck in the past, that's all. Alright, I believe you. You look the guy of man who knows it's a crime to lie to an officer. Okay, I admit it. I threw the muck away in the trash container behind the hostel. I know I shouldn't have, and I'm very sorry, officer. He pauses. You're not going to fine me, are you? No. Nah, Carrie, I just want information. Phew, he's visibly relieved. Thank you. You won't regret this. I won't use another man's property to dump my carpets ever again. Just learn from your mistake. I don't know what's got into me, really. Work has been stressful lately. Damn Koshko's price dumping us out of competition. What did you do, Carrie? Nothing. Just answering some questions, helping out the law. How did you get into the trash container? I know a guy who works with trash collection services, CS Municipal. He gave me a master key for the trash containers of Martinis. That could be amazing. Why would you need to get into everyone's trash? So I can use the Whirlwind's trash compactor to store my own stuff, he says, bowing shamefully like a fallen knight. Garbage disposal is expensive as hell, the damn Himeans running like a mob. I'm sorry, okay? I thought I could cut costs. I shouldn't have. I should have disgraced myself. So, Carrie, did you put the clothes of a murder victim, the man who was hanged behind the whirling racks, into the trash container? Officer, please. He raises both hands. Let me explain. It's not like that. Do? I was only cleaning up. I live right across the yard from where he was hanged, and I saw him stripped naked. All the clothes lying around in the yard, smelling. People are animals, you know. Okay, then what happened? Then I came out to clean up the racks because no one else would. I put them into the whirling's trash, along with the broken mug. Immediately, it changes its mind mid-sentence. Okay, I was coming to throw the mug away, and well, I threw the mug there and the clothes too. As he shifts uncomfortably, a series of clicks, like the clinking of glass beads against one another as they roll across hardwood floor. You've heard this sound before, but where? That's a good question. What is that strange sound? It's the boots. You have some of the armor, right? The boots? What is that strange sound? Yeah, you wouldn't know anything about the victim's missing armor, would you? Armor? No, he changes his mind. I mean, yes, of course, I know he was wearing armor, but I don't know anything about it. An infant could see he's not telling the truth, but he's too scared to admit for more wrongdoings. So what's that strange sound then? What sound? Don't mess with me, I think you know what I'm talking about. I haven't the slightest. There's lots of weird stuff out here in the reeds though, insects, trash, could be the wind shifting some carpet nearby. Every day the wind shifts the reeds and whatever was left in them, tambourines and condom wrappers, plastic and glass bottles, the smell of decay. The sound you heard was not the sound of something easily abandoned. That clinging I just heard when you moved. Really, he fans his arms out slowly, and this time his motions are soundless. There's lots of weird stuff out here in the reeds. Yeah. It's not. Sound you heard was not the sound of something easily abandoned. Let's move on for now. I hope I could help your investigation in my small way. He's visibly relieved it's over. In my small way. Do you know anything about the man hanged behind the whirling in Raxton? I told you everything I know, sir. I'm truly sorry for the muck, but I have nothing to do with that. He shifts uncomfortably in his clothes. Uncomfortable, shifting around doesn't make him the killer, though it's something else. Clinking sound, but so difficult to do. I'll for the moment leave, but I have to at least check if there's something I could do for composure, but there probably ain't. I don't remember I had much for composure. And my composure sucks. I can do this, I guess. It's still more than nothing, I guess. Anything more for composure? But yeah, I don't know if I should be doing this sort of thing, going into here and trying to look for something for this sort of a thing then. But on the other hand, I think it is a logical thing to do too. Should I just increase it immediately? Let's check how
Always
difficult.
a pleasure to see an officer of the law.
It is at least 8%, I guess, so I might as well try it, and then maybe I should increase my composure, sure. Why he's shifting around like that? It is a white check, right? Yes. Analyze carries composure. Is he? He's looking comfortable enough. Maybe it was just beats, sounded like beats, but what kind of beats might a man like Gary be hiding beneath his clothes? Gary, are you cross-dressing by any chance? He furrows his eyebrows. What? Why should I do that, officer? Because you are dangerous, subversive, obviously. He shakes his head slowly. But officer, I'm not wearing any woman's clothes. Well, let's try it out then. I think I had something else with composure before, at least too, but this isn't gonna help much, I know that, but as I was thinking at some point that I should increase this, so we might as well try at least if that would be possible. The socky log smell of ignition fluid, still they won't light up. People are starting to think waking up.
Always a pleasure to see an officer of the law.
Well, at least it's a 17% chance, so let's try it again. Check failure. It's not surprising. You can't make head or tail of this sound, and honestly it's rude to stare, so stop. Well, gotta try to find more about it. These heavy military blockades are riddled with bullet holes crumpling. Ooh, is this possibly one of the boyos? Could this be the boyo class I told you about? Let's check. A metal and plastic contraption pops up and down amidst the trembling reeds. At first it just looks like trash, but if you look closer... This must be the boyo class I mentioned. Pick up the boyo. You lift the boyo out of the water without much effort. It's not tied or to anything. The cords dangling from the bottom appear to have been cut. Examine the plastic ball. The number 11 has been written on the yellow plastic. It hasn't been in the water for very long, but it's already discolored and slimy with silt. A latch holds it closed, but only just barely. The brittle metal of the latch has cracked. Sniff the boyo. It smells like you would expect it to smell, a concentrated version of the coal. Salt, industrial soap, slop and decay. The water this side of peninsula is cleaner actually, smells a little salty. Shake the boyo. There's something in there. Open the boyo, move on. A shot glass worth of seawater pours out, some algae, and nothing else. Aww. Another identity misplaced. There must be some cosmic conspiracy afoot. Stare into the empty boyo. The boyo continues to be mostly empty. It's a good question. Maybe I should have waited to do this when we had our partner, but can't be helped now. It's plausible she took them herself, but don't try to guess who took the documents. You don't have enough information. No answer appears to you in the dirty seawater at the bottom of the boyo, just a heavy smell of brine and silt and disappearance. You could ask the miss what she thinks. Later, if you have the time, though, you doubt she'll tell you much at this point. Let's let it be. Maybe we can bring Kim here too to check it then.